Russian ultranationalists have reacted negatively to the proposal for a temporary ceasefire. At the same time, propaganda TV channels are trying to portray the Kremlin's reaction to the US and Ukrainian proposal as moderate. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War analyzed negotiations between the Ukrainian and American delegations in Jeddah, as well as the proposal for a 30-day ceasefire. Recall, in Saudi Arabia, Ukraine and the United States agreed to a 30-day ceasefire if Russia gives its approval. The United States also announced the resumption of military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Ukrainian President announced that the 30-day ceasefire would cover the entire front line and the Black Sea. Missile and drone strikes were also banned. The U.S. Secretary of State made it clear that Washington expects a response from the Kremlin to this proposal as soon as possible. However, Russian ultranationalists and some officials reacted negatively to the proposal from Ukraine and the United States. Some Z bloggers who are close to the Kremlin have stated that the US and Ukraine will be the first to violate the ceasefire, and for Russia, the war against Ukraine is existential. State Duma deputy and former commander of the 58th Army of the Russian Federation, Viktor Sobolev, categorically rejected any ceasefire. According to him, this time will give Ukraine the opportunity to recover and rearm. The Kremlin has not yet officially commented on the situation regarding a possible ceasefire for a period of 30 days. Propaganda TV channels only decimated Maria Zakharova's statements from March the 11th that the Russian Federation does not rule out new contacts with the United States in the coming days. State Duma Deputy Mikhail Sheremet stated that Russia is interested in resolving the conflict in Ukraine, but Moscow will not let itself be deceived. Russian media outlets are currently showing Russians' reaction to the US proposal as moderate. Russia is not interested in continuing the bloody conflict provoked by the West, but it will not allow itself to be led by the nose. We analyze and realize that the Ukrainian side, a few hours before the start of the discussion of peace initiatives, carried out the largest scale attack using drones on Russian peaceful cities, endangering and depriving our citizens of their lives. From the outside, this massive terrorist air attack and the negotiations themselves look like links in the same chain in an attempt to blackmail and intimidate our country, he said. Konstantin Kosachev, Vice Speaker of the Federation Council of the Russian Federation, said that the conditions are American, not Ukrainian. The Ukrainians agree to do what they are told, and at the same time they bow and fawn. What is the formula alone worth? We will sign an agreement on resources when it is convenient for Washington. Russia is advancing, and therefore it will be different with Russia. Any agreement on our terms, not American. And this is not boasting, but an understanding that real agreements are still being written there at the front, which should be understood in Washington as well, he said. Vladimir Konstantinov, head of the parliament of the annexed Crimea, said that peace will only come when Russia receives reliable security guarantees. And the sooner US President Trump understands this, the closer he will be to fulfilling his promise of a quick peace, he said.
Kyiv residents reacted on Wednesday to the US-Ukraine negotiations on how to end the three-year war with Russia. According to Associated Press, after talks in the Saudi city of Jeddah on Tuesday, President Donald Trump's administration said it would immediately lift its suspension of military aid to Ukraine and its intelligence sharing with Kyiv. That move came more than a week after imposing the measures to push Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky to enter talks to end the war with invading Russian forces. The announcement came at talks between Ukraine and the United States in Saudi Arabia. Ukraine also said it was open to a 30-day ceasefire in the war with Russia, subject to Kremlin agreement. Talking about Tuesday's negotiations in Saudi Arabia, Ukrainian soldier Volodymyr said in Kyiv that the US administration tried to manipulate things and they shouldn't have done that. Another man, Andriy, who moved from Kramatorsk to Kiev for safety, said, "Resuming the military help is very good, because without the intelligence that the US has, it is very difficult for our guys and our defenders to work on the front lines." The outcome of Tuesday's nearly 8-hour talks between the Ukrainian and US officials appeared to ease, for the moment at least, the tension between Trump and Zelensky that erupted during the Oval Office meeting last month.